Try to imagine. I want you to imagine in your head 1 year. 1 year from the start date of single payer, $6,000 a month per family, and the open border. If the Democrats had their way, immigration would be nothing more than a rubber stamp. They don't even want to prevent MS-13 from coming across the border. They've made that perfectly clear. They don't think gang affiliation is anything to, well, if they come here and they get $6,000 a month, they won't be in gangs anymore. Could you be more naive or just stupid? Try to imagine the economy and the quality of life for the American citizen that predated this moment 1 year out. How many people do you think would come across the border if we made $6,000 a month in free money something permanent? Well, we wouldn't do that. How would you stop it? How would you stop it at that point? You think people getting $6,000 a month are going to vote to end the $6,000 a month? How do you stop it? Once the downward spiral begins, how do you stop it? Until you crash and hit rock bottom. And then what? This is how the Tytler cycle works. At some point, the only way to get elected is to outpromise your opponent on the promise of gifts of largesse from the public treasury. A public treasury that's not going to be filled by tax dollars based on incomes, based on labor. Before this all happened, we had 7 million more jobs than there were people to fill them. That might have been the time to talk about letting some people in. When labor is needed. But if you notice something about the Democrats, they want you on lockdown. They want you to stay in place, sit down, shut up, and be quiet. But they want Planned Parenthood and the border to remain open. How many people would come for free money? If immigration was nothing, no more merit-based, no more public charge rules, no literacy, not even a medical background check because we're going to have single payer. How many people do you think from around the world would immediately descend on the United States? 10 million? 20 million? 30 million? 40 million? How many of those people would even seek work at that point? We already have 30 million people who are unemployed. What percentage of them want to go back to work? I have no idea. What percentage of them want $6,000 a month? I have no idea. But they keep upping it. Up, 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 up. $72,000 a year. Did I say $76,000 before, Mike? In the last segment, did I? $72,000 a year. If I said 76, I apologize. $72,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of free money. And whatever workers remain in the economy, you think somebody's going to work at a grocery store for less than $72,000 a year? What is the labor cost going to go to? How are you going to get somebody to forego sitting on ass for $72,000 a year and do work? What's the labor rate going to look like? And as the labor rate goes up, this is something the Democrats will never tell you. Prices have to go up unless the government's going to cap prices. If government were to have a minimum wage of $72,000 a year, or seemingly somewhere between $28,500 and $72,000, what would it cost to get somebody to go to work at a grocery store? It ain't going to be 73,000. You're going to get up and work 8 hours a day for an extra $1,000? When that happens, what do you think the cost of the products on the shelves in the grocery stores are going to look like? Starting back at the farms, the cattle ranches, the hog farms, chicken farms, wheat farms. Then you've got to make those into products. Then you've got to package them. You've got to ship them. You've got to store them. You've got to put them on the shelves, and then you've got to retail them out. When you put that cost of labor at every stop of the supply chain, what do you think happens to the price of the end product? It rises. So then all of a sudden, the free money isn't enough anymore. And people want more. If all of a sudden everything costs more, that's $72,000 a year isn't going to buy as much. Then there'll be an election. And the only way to get elected is going to be to promise more money. And then as you promise more money, people who are still working are going to demand more money. And then what? Then you've got to give out even more money. And then the labor cost goes up even higher. Again, this is what they did in Venezuela. The next step was nationalization. The Democrats have already told us they want single payer. That would be nationalizing healthcare. What do you think would happen overnight? Open borders, free money,